Hello, it's May 10th, 2017, and we have another day, a third day in a row of problems on the Long Island Railroad due to problems with Amtrak and Penn Station. It is reaching a point where I think the MTA needs to take emergency control of Penn Station because what happened tonight was a complete disaster. Now, we had minor signal problems the past couple of nights that resulted in a few cancellations and delays and combinations. Tonight, we had a complete suspension of service out of Penn Station, a nearly complete suspension of service. According to the website, most trains out of Penn Station were canceled, and they were running trains from Atlantic Terminal. They said that they were having extremely limited service on only the four major branches out of Penn Station. That would be Ronkonkoma, Huntington, Port Jefferson, Babylon, and Port Washington. And all the other services operating only out of Atlantic or Hunters Point or wherever. We have an emergency situation on our hands because without functioning Long Island Railroad service out of Penn Station, the economy will grind to a halt. And so tonight, there was literally unbearable crowded conditions on all the trains, Babylon branch included. And from what I could tell on the Babylon branch, I hardly saw any trains. And according to the sign, it looked like they did have some trains coming, but I don't know where they were coming from. So I don't know, but there was very limited service. A real complete disaster tonight. Amtrak needs to be held accountable right now. You know, enough of this talk right now. I think that we need an emergency declaration. All right, these repairs need to be made, and I understand that. And when they make these repairs, they need to, combine most of those flyers. But what happened tonight was inexcusable. To provide absolutely no service out of Penn Station, from what I understand, it was a signal problem. It says a signal problem in the East River tunnels, but this disruption obviously wasn't one of the East River tunnels. What it appears, it says an Amtrak-related infrastructure problem. There are no specifics. They said it has been fixed temporarily, but this is a real mess. And there was a police blockade. Commuters are literally fuming. Who can blame them? A real disaster. And I think what happened was the signal problems affected the switches that led to the East River tunnels from the Long Island Railroad. And of course, this had a ripple effect on New Jersey Transit as well. Amtrak, I think we need an emergency declaration. Amtrak needs to cede control of Penn Station immediately. And the MTA needs to take control of the Long Island Railroad section, and New Jersey Transit needs to take control of the New Jersey Transit section and work out a deal. Amtrak needs to be out of Penn Station. No, I don't mean kick Amtrak trains out. I mean Amtrak needs to no longer be running Penn Station anymore because they have shown time and time again that they cannot be trusted. And we are talking about thousands and thousands of commuters, and it's affecting the economy, and when it starts affecting the economy, we have a serious problem. And yeah, many of them may be white-collar professionals, but you know what? They pay $300, $400 for a monthly ticket. They deserve to have a train that's going to get them to and from work within a reasonable schedule, all right? I can understand a 10 to 15-minute delay, but having no service at all is inexcusable. In addition to this, I think that part of the contingency plan is whenever this happens, I think express bus service in New York City needs to be suspended. And the MTA has a fleet of hundreds of express buses that could be used to handle some of the overflow to get people back out to Long Island or get people to Long Island in the event of a problem, at Penn Station. Even if it's just used to shuttle them to Jamaica. The subways are full. I mean, the subways are crowded as it is. They're telling people take the subway across Honoring. This is a huge mess. The governor Cuomo is not getting involved in this. He doesn't want to say anything. I actually like what Christie said. Christie said, you know what? We're not going to pay they're not going to pay Amtrak for the NJ Transit pays Amtrak for the use of Penn Station. And New Jersey says they may withhold that money. I think New York needs to withhold that money too, because Amtrak is not providing a stable situation. And maybe Amtrak should be completely done away with, completely, at this point, because they cannot be trusted. This is going to happen again. In a few days, we're going to hear about the plans that they have for Penn Station. So let's take a look at some of the Twitter feeds here and show you just how bad it was.
Okay, so we're going to look at just how bad things were on the trains here. I want to review the Twitter because it was a complete mess, and almost all the trains were canceled. And Penn Station quickly got overcrowded. There was limited eastbound service out of Penn, only on the Babylon, Port Jefferson, Port Washington, and Ronkonkoma only. And you could see that they wound up just canceling all the trains. Pretty much any train that was scheduled to depart Penn Station during the evening rush was canceled, and I don't know exactly. I guess they just put on special trains, or they ran the trains from other spots like Jamaica or Hunters Point. But you can see there's just a ton of cancellations. Absolute, complete mess. All the flyers, everything was canceled. Almost everything out of Penn, almost the majority of the service was canceled due to this problem. As you can see here, it's just a huge mess here. All of these were canceled. Every look at it, all the trains. Look at them all. Look at them all. All the trains were canceled. All of them. All of them were canceled. And it says Long Island Railroad, they were all canceled. All of them. This is pretty much the entire rush hour out of Penn Station that was just canceled. Due to this signal problem in one of the, it's not one of the East River, it's the switches pretty much were out of service. Just look at this. This is crazy. This is nuts. So I figured I'd show it to you, just how crazy this is. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. And now, finally, after the rush hour, things are finally operating after temporary repairs were made. Let's take a look at some of the pictures people have shared here, because the crowding literally violated any kind of safety. I'd like to see some yeah, here you go. Look at this. What a mess. I just wanted to show you just how crazy this is. This is just nuts. Absolute nuts. Look at how crowded that is. I mean, absolute nuts. This is a disaster here.
So you can see there that there was literally just one train after another canceled. Like I said, all the service was canceled. And can you imagine that? Can you imagine all the people, just everything just grinding to a halt? Well, that's what happened tonight. And it was inexcusable. The governor should be addressing people, but it showed, Cuomo does not like Long Island. And I'm sure that if something major was happening and affecting the people in Metro and North, Cuomo would get involved. But it's shown time and time again he doesn't like Long Island. He obviously doesn't want to get involved in this and say, you know what, if I was in his shoes, I'd tell Amtrak, I think we need to take immediate control of Penn Station, and we will sue. And the MTA is already considering suing. I think they need to go ahead and sue Amtrak, and I think the control, like I said before, control of Penn Station needs to be handed over to the MTA immediately, without further ado. This is a crisis, all right, that I've never seen it this bad ever, and something needs to happen really soon. Obviously, when something will happen. I'm surprised that something hasn't happened already, major, but I think something is going to happen because you have a lot of people with money and influence to take those trains, and something is going to happen. Unfortunately, when it comes to the people who take Nice Bus and the nearly, well, not 100, probably 80,000 riders a day that take it, it's a different story. But whether it's people who take Nice or Long Island Railroad, nobody deserves to have this unreliability in the transit system. It's inexcusable. It really is inexcusable. Now, speaking of Nice, I just want to bring up one thing here with Nice, and that is This particular problem, I'm going to explain it to you, and it's a stupid problem, but it does delay the buses. Nassau Community College, you're going to see this traffic light here outside Nassau Community College at the lot by Endo Boulevard. And is it Endo? I think it's Endo Boulevard. This light doesn't change unless you move all the way up. Well, these cars will often sit there for a very long time, and they will not move and they don't realize that they got to move up for the light to change. So this delays the buses, and if you take the N35, it's a route that has an issue with delays to begin with, and this is one of the reasons why it gets delayed. Nassau Community College, this is a constant problem with the buses. We have a car that's sitting here at the light. We've been here for like 3 minutes already. This light doesn't change because they don't move up, and this car just sitting here. 3-4 minutes, these people just sit here and clog up the traffic. They don't move up. And just get his plate there. What a jerk. Very inconsiderate. He will not move up, and therefore the light will not change, and we could sit here all night. So you have that, and then you have the nights not allowing enough running time. So that also, obviously, they don't give enough running time between. They give the evening runs. They give about 15 minutes of running time to get between Roosevelt Field and Westbury. Barely 15 minutes, and it's just not enough time when you have to serve the college. So that is what is going on. I'll keep you posted. It is a huge mess, and I really hope something happens soon to solve this problem with the Long Island Railroad, because it will affect the economy. If there's any silver lining to this that might happen, is that all these city people that came out and moved out here, they may wind up moving back to the city. And if they leave, then the housing prices might go down, and making it easier for me to, relocate to a nicer town here that's doesn't have gangs in it. So that's it. You have a good night. Take it easy. If you ride the Long Island Railroad, well, and New Jersey Transit, if you deal with Penn Station, man, my prayers do go out to you. And it is a difficult time. And please, give the governor a headache. Governor Cuomo needs to get to the table. He needs to show his face and stop hiding and be a leader and address this situation. That's it. Have a good night.